What's up, Art Prof family? How are you all doing today? Today we're going to be doing an hangout for artists. And if you would like to learn how to turn your artistic weakness into your strength, definitely check out artprof.org, where we have lots of free resources, tutorials, critiques, art dares, pro development, and all that cool stuff. So, Clara, you want to get us started for today?
Yeah, my computer is not cooperating. So I'm sorry. This is not going to be us painting. You're just stuck with our faces. So sorry about that, everybody. But we are still here. It's just my computer hates me. This is payback for me coming back to Portugal. So sorry.
Well, we almost got it to work, so we're not promising, but it might be able to kick in. But
I'm going to try. I'm not confident. And actually, I forgot to tell Jordan, you and Alex this, but you're going to have to do comments because I can't do comments from my phone.
Oh, that's right.
Sorry.
Okay, well, first comment, it looks like Seven Angelic doesn't mind. It says, hey, so nice to see your faces again, even if it's all face on. So, I'm glad you don't think we're hideous, Seven Angelic. That's great. So,
It does feel weird to be back live after being gone for so long. I mean, it's one of those things like you don't realize how badly you need a vacation until you're on vacation. Have you ever had that, Alex?
oh, totally. Yeah, we just went to the mountains for like a couple days yesterday, and it's just feels so good. You just can feel your body like relaxing and letting go of tension.
well, speaking of vacation, I don't think any of us know any details about your trip. I don't know if you're playing an extra stream for that, Claire, but I'm curious to know how your trip was up there.
Yeah, same.
Oh, I mean, there's like 2,000 photos on my phone alone. That's not even counting the videos I shot on the DSLR. We also have a million reels to cut. But my lowdown on Lisbon is, oh boy, do they like egg yolks. Everything has egg yolks in it. I'm like, there's
That's
other
awesome.
ingredients, but they love their egg yolks.
It's so oddly specific.
Hey, we got a really nice super chat from Amaris Joseph, who says, "Happy birthday to me and my twin." Also cool, guys. But that's nice. I like that idea of like you give a gift on your birthday instead of receiving a gift. So thank you.
I love
And
it.
happy birthday.
W315 Bird says, hello, Clara. So good to see you.
Thank you, W315. It's funny because when you're on vacation, you're like, oh, I never want this to end. But then you come back home, you're like, I like home.
Yeah.
Jordan, when's the last time you took a vacation?
It depends what you define as vacation. I mean, if I'm not working, sometimes that just happens weekly. But if you're talking about going on a trip somewhere that and having no work, I don't really remember. I went to a wedding in New York last summer. If you want to include that,
Hey.
maybe.
Oh yeah.
But yeah,
Depends.
yeah, vacation is not really the thing that I do very much.
Well, I think a vacation is when you cannot do work. It's not possible. That's what a vacation is.
I like that.
Well, okay. So Lisbon is all about egg yolks, and it's also all about tiles. Like they own the whole tile genre in Lisbon. Like everything has tiles on it. Like you'll go to some random building that doesn't look like anything special and it's got tiles all over it. It's incredible.
It's so exciting. I want to go to a place like Portugal or Spain or something like that. Or just anywhere outside of the country would be kind of cool. I've never had an opportunity to go.
So, Alex, what's going on in those comments? Let's hear from more people.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
so eager to hear from everybody.
Yeah. We got Lisa H, who says, I miss my shower when I'm on vacation. That was... I understand that. It's sometimes nice, though, to, like, say, like, a nice Airbnb. It's like, ooh, this shower's better than mine.
Or, ooh, I don't have to do laundry or cook meals or clean anything for 10 days.
I think that's... I view vacation as, like, a place where you eat out more than you cook.
Yeah, that does work.
Lollipop asked a question. It says, can you guys draw beach landscapes?
Ooh, I would if I wasn't in the middle of the desert. And Alex, you're not really close to a beach either.
I guess
No, but there's something hard about, like, beaches, that infinite horizon, where it's hard to show that space. You know what I mean? And correct me if I'm wrong, but Strawberry, I think that's kind of the heart of the question you're asking, where it's almost easy to draw a mountainous or a hilly landscape because you have, hey, this is the foreground, this is the middle ground, this is the background. How easy was that? But with a beach, it's just like, yes, and here's this vast expanse. And you can't, it's hard to put anything in perspective.
Hey, Jordan, have you ever tried to paint, well, digitally paint outdoors? Because I tried it once and you can't see the iPad at all.
It's hard. It's really hard. You have to like be indoors or in a very shaded area, because if you're out in the sun and you're trying to work with color, everything just starts getting muddy, and I don't trust it personally. So if I'm working outside, it's pretty much just line work where I don't have to depend on lighting. I just find it much easier that way.
Well, because I was very curious about trying to do digital stuff outdoors. It was just impossible. Like, I could not see what I was drawing.
Yeah. I know some people will work in like cafes and stuff. That's about as much as I've seen. But like purely working outdoors, you have to have a very special lighting situation for that. And you have to also hope that your battery will last, because when you turn up the brightness in order to see your colors more, the battery dies faster. So, yeah.
Jordan, what's going on in the comments?
Well, we actually have a question for Alex. It says,
I was just going to click on that.
Red Blount, Alex, have you ever been told you look like veterinarian on Schitt's Creek?
Oh,
no, but I just started watching Schitt's Creek, and thank you for that compliment.
Oh my gosh, Alex. Okay, this is maybe a little bit of a spoiler, but it's not a big deal. There's one where Ted, the veterinarian, he ends up on a webcam, and he didn't know he was on a webcam that was broadcasting. And he's like, you know, taking his shirt off and showing off his muscles. Oh my God, I love Ted.
Yeah, I have this thing where I have to be like 5 years behind every show that comes out. It's just how I work.
Let's see, we got another comment. It says, my twin sister says hi to you, Clara, and you're welcome. We'll be using birthday money to send more super chats this month and the next. We're both fans of Art Prof. And
thank
Jordan.
You, Amaris.
So thank you for including me in there.
Dude, my birthday's coming up. I'm going to be 46.
Really? Birthday.
Yeah. My birthday's June 4th.
I didn't know that.
Right.
I forget my own birthday, so sorry if I didn't know that.
What is your birthday, Alex?
I can't remember.
Fair enough.
Are you doing anything fun for your birthday, Claire?
I will refuse to cook that day.
Yes.
That's fun. Yeah, it's funny. When I came back, my older kid, who like really cares about having good food, was like, yeah, I'm glad you're back. Like, I don't think the meals were as good when I was gone.
I just want to say thank you to Amanda for a super chat. Welcome back, Prof Lieu. How many pineapples did you bring back? Those twins were cute.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much, Amanda. Yeah, I got a slushie from them because they noticed that I was painting them, and they brought over free slushies. And actually, I was with Karen, who has been with us for a really long time. We met up in Portugal, and it was so much fun to paint with somebody. Like, Jordan, you must have had that in art school. You just in a room with other people drawing. It's like really fun.
I love that. That's kind of why I like these, the studio hangouts when the technology is working, especially. And and what we would do is there'd be like 10 of us in a room, and we would just play music really loud and work till our eyes got heavy, and it was great. We had so much fun. I miss that a lot.
I mean, I do love being by myself. I think that's partially because I'm surrounded by kids all day who are constantly asking me for stuff. And I did do a long painting, 3 hours at the Botanical Garden in Lisbon that I'm excited to edit and show everybody. But yeah, like Alex, that companionship is so nice.
Yeah, I just moved back to Colorado and already started with talking with some like other creative friends of like having like craft nights of just hanging out and just working on something together, because we all miss that feeling that is just so much easier to find in a school environment. However, solitude, we got one from Anna. She says, I'm at Birdcliff Residency in Woodstock, New York, and the woods are so beautiful. Every day I go on a walk and draws where I take my sketchbook on my trail hikes. And it's good to draw with people, but sometimes it's nice to just do that by yourself. Do you guys have that thing where you find it easier to think of ideas when you're solitude or with people?
I am like Kat, who says that she gets her ideas in the shower. Like, I have to be doing something mindless, and all of a sudden I think of something. If I'm with other people, I can't.
Yeah, I'm probably the same way, where my best ideas come when I'm not thinking about it. I feel like when I'm with other people, it's hard for me to take certain ideas more as seriously. Like, we can make a joke thing, but in the art, and we talk about, oh, you can make a piece like this, but it's only good for that 2-minute segment where we're talking about it, and I actually don't want to do it in real life. So yeah. Also want to say I was going to say quick thank you to RB Dick for the super chat. You guys are awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, my dude. Yeah, it's like when I'm alone, it's good to think of initial ideas, but I kind of need that period with other people to brainstorm those ideas, to kind of flush them out. Because I think when I'm either like I'll run with bad ideas, or I'll like be too disparaging and be like, nah, that's not a good idea, I won't do it. So sometimes it's nice to have someone say, no, it's a good idea, you just need to tweak it.
Right.
Rev Blount is asking, Prof, was it an art trip?
It absolutely was. Kat thought I was crazy. She's like, why are you cutting a reel? We're supposed to be relaxing. I'm like, I can't help it. It's just, it's my favorite thing in the whole world.
This
Travel, art, and food. That's just a winning combination. And I think I've told some of you this, that my pipe dream is to have a Netflix show, which is me going around with other artists around the world and painting and drawing what we see. I mean, that I just think would be so brilliant. Because Jordan, we got to get you out of the country at some point.
Yeah, everyone I talk to says something like that, and I'm ready with you guys. I got my passport right here, literally in arm's distance from me. So yeah, just waiting.
By the way, Jordan and Alex, because I can't check my text messages, I'll have to just reply here. The stream goes until 12:45 Eastern.
Okay.
Sorry, everybody. This is like the most clunky stream we've done in like a really long time, just because my computer's not cooperating. But I mean, one of my favorite things is the people you meet. Like Amanda brought up the pineapple cart that was run by identical twins. They were so funny and cute, and we met up with a lot of art craft people. Like, I met Christina and her sister Claudia. We met them in Cascais. I met Karen, obviously. We met Gabby, who has been following us since 2017. And we also met up with Mariana in Lisbon, and that makes the trip so fun when you can meet local people. Have you had that experience, Alex?
It's been a while, but I think that's my favorite way to take vacation. I don't like being in a place for like a day and being like, I would, let's put it this way, if I had 6 months, I would rather spend all that time in one place and just really get to know it and do that, get to meet and genuinely know some local people and find out what it's really like to live there rather than just in and out.
I don't know, Jordan, are you a resort person? Are you a cruise vacationer? Because I know these people who are like obsessed with these like tour packages.
I've never been on a cruise, so maybe I'm that type of person. But right now, it's just like the thing is like I don't know some of this stuff because I just genuinely haven't had the experience. I would like to try it though, but it's funny because I happen to live in very touristy places. Like I've lived in New York, I lived in LA, and San Francisco. So like I don't really think about it as being a tourist.
That's a funny point.
Yeah, it just is what it is. So yeah. By the way, we have a question from Crispy Paintbrush. That's a great username, by the way. I'm starting the character design track and trying to figure out what character I'm going to use for the first lesson, thinking about using Bill Cipher, wondering if it's a bad idea.
Well, Jordan, can you explain what that first lesson is in the character design track?
If I'm not correctly, it was the shape design, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically the goal is to draw a character and use the 3 primary shapes. You have circles, squares, and triangles. They each have a different psychological impact on the viewer, and it's really important when designing characters. And the goal is to find out how you can make them just a little bit different to create a different read. So you can use whatever character you want. I have to look up what Bill Cipher is, because I genuinely have no idea. Let me see. Oh, okay. I recognize him. He looks like a triangle with an eyeball, like the all-seeing eye, basically. I think he's from Gravity Falls. You could try it if you want. I mean, why not? Why not? Just go for it and see what he looks like as a circle with an eyeball and square with an eyeball and figure things out. I don't know. Anyone has any other tips or comments about that?
Really, I don't think it's a problem to try it, and if it doesn't work at all, you can do another one. Because Alex, I oftentimes find I'm like, oh, that's going to be cool, and it's a total car crash, and I have to do something else. Does that happen to you ever, Alex?
Yeah, you just have to kind of be like flexible and adaptable, I think, as it's going. I like that thought of challenge for that character, because this character that is a triangle, and that kind of tough challenge where it might not work out, but it's a good thing to learn from, where how can the character's identity still remain the same with I'm sorry, I'm distracted. How can the characters can remain the same when it's still a circle? And we got a super chat from Anna. Thank you so much. How come we don't get to see what you're working on this time? I miss it. Honestly, it's just a technical issue this time. So thank you for the super chat and support. But yeah, it's just we are just adapting, and yeah. So sorry about that.
We wanted to show you all our cool stuff, but the internet said no today. So
the real reason my computer hates me, that's what it comes down to. So yeah, I'm sorry everybody that you don't get to see the painting, but my computer shut down, I'm not kidding, 6 times this morning when I was trying to work it, and I think it's on its last leg, which makes me really sad. So we'll see. In the future, we'll try to correct it.
We have a comment here from Musteliste. Hi everyone, it's Mel. Glad to make the stream today. And oh man, where did the comments go? And then also Paint Me Blue by Nicola Mantov. Hello from France. Wonderful props. I'm so happy to catch the live stream. I'm glad both of you can make it, and everyone else here who is joining us.
Yeah. We got a great question from Joe. One more like a statement. I really want to create pieces with a better narrative. Would you guys have tips? Would you guys have any insight on pieces that are finished enough and identifying finished products versus unfinished? So I think Joe's doing the 2-for-1 of like 2 questions in there. The first one is pieces with narrative, and I think that's a good one to tackle first, and then we'll go with that finished and unfinished. But yeah, like Jordan and Clara, do you guys have good ideas for like how to incorporate narrative into a piece more?
I think it's good to start with narratives that have already been written, because I think writing your own narrative is fantastic. I think it's great. But oftentimes, if you're writing your own story, you'll find that you spend so much time tweaking the story that you can't really focus on making the artwork. So if, let's say you just take a fairy tale like Little Red Riding Hood, that story's already made for you. So it's a lot easier to run with it. And do a lot of quick ones. Don't try to slave over one illustration for 3 months. Make little illustrations that don't take that long, so you can maybe do 5 narratives instead of 1.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I would also say is study the greats. There have been plenty of artists over the last few hundred or few thousand years who have done that exact thing. They've all painted the same story. And so I think it'd be really good to focus on and learn from them. Like how many people have done the story of Cain and Abel, right? Or the story of, I don't know, Rapunzel or whatever. So there's so many options that you can just learn and take from them and then add your own spin on it that makes it uniquely yours.
Yeah, I think this might be too simple to put it, but I think that the strongest drive of narrative is character. And it doesn't have to be a living being character. I mean, there are some landscape paintings that have a sense of narrative, of like a storm rolling in, and there the nature is part of that landscape. And everybody, but I just want to address on my end an elephant in the room. I'm looking sideways because all the lights and cameras are set up for a different type of stream. So it's either this or like y'all get like a vertigo experience of cameras moving around. So sorry, guys.
Alex, what was the second question in that comment?
The second one was the big one of how do you tell if something is finished versus unfinished?
It's really hard. I don't think anybody really knows for sure. My answer is when I just can't stand looking at it anymore. And I'm like, okay, it's done. I don't want to do this. Jordan, how do you know?
I think it depends on who it's for. If it's for a certain client, when the deadline is up, like it's done. If it's for yourself, like Clara said, it's like when you're tired of it or when you accomplish your goal. If you're trying to, let's say, illustrate a children's book and it's supposed to be in color, but only half of it is even penciled in, you're clearly not done. So I think at a certain point, that just comes to your own discretion, and and try not to get tired of it and overwork it. That's one thing to avoid too.
Yeah, I think that's that key thing. And the biggest difference in reality between being an artist and someone just observing artists is you have that idea of like, oh, an artist is very aware, like puts one last dot. It's like, there, that was the final touch. And it's not like that at all. I'd say every single painting I have, I don't know when I make the last mark. It just kind of happens. And I'm like, yeah, that'll do.
I want to share this comment. Shilpi Jarviwala, hope I said that right. There's a cartoon show called Phineas and Ferb where a lot of the characters are just shapes like triangles. Yeah, that's very true. Many shows are, especially animated shows, are built off of basic shapes. Like Mickey Mouse is basically circles. Winnie the Pooh, Sonic the Hedgehog is like triangles and circles. And so all these characters are based off of very simple things. And when you start to deconstruct that, it makes a lot of sense. Fun fact, I also got a chance to see some of the making of Phineas and Ferb back when I was in high school. It was actually really cool. A lot of fun.
That's cool.
And Seven Angelic says, you need to bribe your computer with more RAM, Clara.
I think actually what I really need is a desktop because my laptop is not sufficient. We're just running so many programs on streams and stage sessions. I just need something more powerful.
RF is asking a question. Yeah, can you please explain image distortion of photos and interpreting photos correctly as a substitute for life drawing? You got anything on that, Clara?
It's really hard. I think what I would recommend is to always know that a photo is only showing you a percentage of what's actually there. And that actually makes your life a lot harder. I know a lot of times the assumption is, oh, drawing from a photo is easier. It's not actually, because, Alex, I've painted portraits before where in life, I can see all the nuances in the shadow. But in a photo, the shadow's like black. There's like nothing else. And I just find sometimes people don't realize that painting from life is easier sometimes. Have you seen that, Alex?
Oh, I absolutely have. Yeah, because there's so much that you don't have to do, as RF is saying, of distortion of photos, interpreting photos. But I think when you're using photos, I think the key is to use more than you need, or more than you think you need. Don't just, if you're painting a train, don't just find the first image of a train, be like, that'll work. Really mix and match, kind of collage in your head, collage in your sketchbook, and really start to make those unique.
Yeah, I think one of the important principles is just thinking about how to design your own image. I mean, it's like Alex was saying, it's very easy to just take things at face value, but it takes a whole other skill to be able to combine 5 or 6 photos together and then add your spin on it to make it really unique. Because when you do that, then it really separates your artwork from your reference. And at that point, it's not any type of plagiarism, it's just inspiration.
I would also say, if any of you here want to get better at drawing the figure or portraits, and tell us in the chat if that is one of your goals, you got to draw from life. People say, oh, well, the model moves. Oh, you don't have to make a super polished 18-hour drawing of somebody from life. Some of my favorite life drawings I've done are these crappy quick sketches that I do in 10 minutes. So I would just say draw from life. That's the skill that most people don't have now.
Yeah. We got a question from Louise. Hi, art profs. Do you have tips on choosing where to begin, acrylic or oil? That is on you.
I appropriate.
Alex, how about you recommend? Because you did oil painting in art school, right?
Yeah, I did. I think I mean, they're so different. They seem similar on the surface, but they are so different. Mostly in drying time. Like acrylic dries like that. And oil, I mean, there are some times where in doing oil, I had to wait days for a layer to dry so that I could work on the next one. I think that I would say objectively it is easier to start acrylic because it's typically more affordable, it's less harmful, less toxic. You don't need as much of a setup to try it out. Whereas acrylic, with oil, you need so much. You need a ventilated area so the fumes don't get you. You need all different types of mixings and turpentine and all that. But that would be my thought on it.
I think the issue with oil, when you're just getting started, it's just so many supplies. And that's overwhelming. Whereas with acrylic, you don't need all that extra stuff. That said, there are things that I wish I had used, like matte medium. Alex, you introduced me to that. And also slow dry medium. There's so many things I had no idea to use, which made me not like acrylic at first. And I would just say start with acrylic, because oil is just so much stuff. The other option too, I know a lot of people are using water mixable oils. The one thing I will say about those is people say, oh, how do those compare with traditional oils, with the expectation that they're supposed to be another version of oils, but they're not. They're really like a different paint. They don't really feel like oils to me. We do have a lot of streams on water mixable oils. So that's an option, but I think acrylic is better to start with.
We got a good question here. Oh, we clicked on the same one.
Oh, really? Oh, it's that. Okay. Yeah. It's by No Life Cold. So thank you for the great question. It says, can you do a video on LGBT art? Does any of you want to take that one?
Well, I think what's tricky is that's a huge, it's like saying, can you do a stream about Asian artists? It's just so gigantic. And so we probably would need to focus that subject a little bit more. And typically what we really try to do is when we do our streams about like overrated artists and underrated artists, we work really hard to have visibility and be as representative as we can about a broad range of artists. So if anybody has a theme about LGBTQIA artists that really hits a particular topic, it's helpful, because sometimes when the topic's so gigantic, it's really hard for the stream to make any sense. So give me your suggestions if you've got them, but we really try to make the topics more streamlined so we're not so scatterbrained in the stream.
Well, I feel like that question brings up a second one as well, because Anna Wilder also said, oh, that would be such a good stream idea. So I feel like I'm going to piggyback on that and say, like, for the viewers, like, if you're a viewer now and you have ideas for streams you'd like to see, where's the best spot to comment on that? Like, where's a good spot? Because the Discord's a great community, but yeah, where's the best spot to submit those ideas for streams that viewers might have?
Well, if you go into the Discord, we do have a channel called Art Prof Suggestions, and that's anything. You can suggest a stream, maybe there's something on the website that you think we could improve. Go in there and make the suggestions, and I'll take a look at it, because that's actually for me like a record, and I'll actually go back to that channel when I'm looking for ideas to refer to what people want. Yeah, so I mean, we're happy to do a stream on that topic. I just need it to be a little bit less gigantic.
Totally fair. Lisa H says, I'm trying tonal studies so hard. Any tips? Well, first thing I would say, work from life, or at least from reference. Like you have to like really be able to figure out how to differentiate between things that are very dark in value and very light in value. Understanding the simple ball with the shadow cast, like understanding what the difference between like a terminator edge or ambient occlusion or bounce light or reflective light, those differences are going to be really, really major for you to understand. And so if you don't have that memorized, then have at least a picture of that so you can identify as you're working.
I think, Lisa, what I would recommend, you need to get references that have really good lighting, where the lighting is super pronounced. You've got big dramatic shadows. Because if I had a photo that didn't have good lighting, I would really struggle with doing tonal stuff. Alex, why do you think lighting is so important in art? Because I know often people just don't think of it.
I think Jordan was bringing it up perfectly, of draw from life and recognize those differences between how dramatic lighting can be. The thing I go to with tonal studies always go back to like a 0 to 10 scale between your lightest light and your darkest dark. But Lisa H, trying that same scale, but in a well-lit room in like midday, like me right now, or like a dark room lit by candlelight, and you'll still have that range of 1 to 10, but it's going to be massively different. Like if you use this bright light of sunlight on my glasses in a dark candlelit room, that would be like nuclear blast level.
Yeah, lighting is one of those topics. It's not that complicated, but a lot of people don't take the time to really study it. And we do have a section on our website that is all about lighting. Just go to the search bar in the upper left, type in lighting, and you'll find all those streams.
We got a question from Shilpi. It says, hey, our prof, I have a question. How do you go into a piece with fearlessness? Because for me, it's like dropping my toes into cold water. How do I start without worrying about how it'll turn out?
I think I would recommend, number one, don't have expectations. Because a lot of people will say to me, it doesn't look like what I wanted. Or I had an image in my head and I couldn't make that. Just get rid of that image. That image is not helping you at all. And I think you need to turn your brain off. I mean, I'll listen to a podcast. I'll have some trashy 80s music on so I'm not thinking too hard. Because, Jordan, I find sometimes we are our own worst enemy.
Yeah, actually, it's funny. I was actually talking to one of my former professors last on Friday actually, and I was telling him like, yeah, I feel like my drawings have been very stiff lately, and so now I have to sort of retrain my mind into just being more free and loose with my drawings. And I would do the same thing, like kind of take your mind off of it. And then I also noticed this type of question comes from people who usually don't draw enough because every drawing becomes super precious. You know, it's like, I can't mess this up. It has to be perfect. But when you have stacks and stacks and stacks of drawings or paintings, it's just like, oh, it's another one. You know, it's like, you know, LeBron James shooting the basket and missing. It's like, oh, it's just another shot. It is what it is. You know, he's done that thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of times. So, yeah, do more work.
Well, and also look at it this way. Let's say you try it and it looks like crap. I mean, what are you going to do? You're going to have a pity party maybe for 10 minutes, but then you got to move on. It's like, it's not worth your time to worry about that. Your time is much better spent focusing on the drawing process, pumping out a lot of work. That's going to help you more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. One last thing about it, I also want to get out of it. I also think it has to do with the mindset of instant gratification too. Art is a slow build. It is very difficult to go from 0 to 100 in like 6 months. I'm not even sure if that's even possible. So, you know, especially when you're looking at YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, whatever, and you're seeing these 10-second videos of people producing the most amazing things, I think sometimes internally we start thinking, that's how it's always supposed to be. When in reality, every one of those artists struggles, whether they show it on camera or not. So.
Got a quick comment just on what y'all were saying. I had to let go of my perfectionistic mindset when I started the 2500 challenge. That's moistifiliste. I am sorry. But yeah, and so if y'all haven't heard of that, it's Jordan, if you want to elaborate more on it, that could be a great way to break that fear of how good your sketches look.
Yeah, so the 2500 challenge is a drawing challenge that was created by one of my professors that I brought to Art Prof. And basically you draw 1,000 heads, 500 arms, 500 legs, 250 hands, 250 feet in the course of a year. The sketches are, you know, you're meant to use reference, 2 to 3 inches big, and you're supposed to take like 10 minutes per drawing. And the exact reason for it is so that you can let go. I noticed when in art school, we're often given assignments where we're like, draw, you know, this arm for like 7 hours. And, you know, I mean, that's great. You can come up with a great drawing that way, but oftentimes it's more difficult to learn and memorize the anatomy because you're focused on one drawing. So if you're doing a bunch of them, you're less precious. You get a lot faster, and you kind of have to let go. And if you end up with a bad drawing, you know you got 499 to go. So yeah, so I'm glad you have that mindset.
I think it's important to up your productivity. So if you're used to doing 3 drawings in a month, try to do 5. Because actually people say, oh, I have to do 5. That's so much harder and the work isn't going to be as good. It actually might be the opposite. We're doing more makes you obsess a little less about the results.
We just got a comment. It's slightly off topic. Benjamin is referring to the conversation we were having with acrylic versus oil, and how the first thing that comes to a lot of people's minds, myself included, with oil is the toxicity of some of the ingredients. I think Benjamin's saying, but nobody should do things they're not comfortable with. And if you have kids or nosy pets, you might want to avoid certain things, laugh out loud. And I think that that's a good way to look at it, is judge your situation with, like, yeah, I mean, kids and pets is a great example of, like, with my dog, I would not want a little bucket of oil paint goop just sitting there. So I think that's a good way to judge whether or not you want to start out oils.
Well, I can tell you, when I was pregnant with my kids, I just stopped oil painting altogether. I mean, maybe some people are able to do it, but I was just so paranoid about some of the health stuff that I stopped oil painting. And you know what? I never went back because when I was pregnant, I needed to find something else to do that I didn't have to worry about the hazards. And so I ended up doing all these crayon drawings. And I loved it so much that I just stopped oil painting. So it could be a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, that's a really good way to look at it, of, okay, I am limited by these things, but not view it as a limitation, rather as, what can I do? Like if you're in a 1-bedroom apartment, you don't want that stinking up with oil paint goop. So what can you use?
Yeah. I remember being so scared those oil painting lectures in school, and they'd be like, "Yeah, this stuff is toxic, and we're going to use it the whole time." Like, geez. Stephen Grant says, "Hello, just got here. I'm doing my animation, and I'm pulling an all-nighter." I know how that feels. And your energy makes me determined more. Hello to you all from the Philippines. What's up, Stephen? Thank you for watching. It motivates you. And I'm sorry about the all-nighter. I know how that feels.
Well, you know what? I think we need community. We need other people to sympathize and understand what we're going through. So I'm really glad we can help provide some of that, Stephen.
Let's see. Amaris is asking a question. I saw a video saying we use Loomis incorrectly and that it's a tool for creating and building your own method of drawing character and portraits. Is that true? I've never heard that before. I look at Loomis as just a guide. I don't enforce using Loomis. I use it as a tool to kind of help people get started, because most people usually don't know where to start, and I find that a lot of people understand his method. So I don't know if there's a such thing as using it correctly or incorrectly. It just depends on your final result. I mean, if you can draw blindfolded and with just one line and that's just your final, then go for it. I envy that. So I am not at that stage, unfortunately, though.
Well, for those of you who are studying anatomy or portraits, just know that it's about fit, because Loomis works great for some people. It has for decades. Doesn't work great for me. My brain just doesn't function that way. And so you should try out multiple approaches and then step back and say, hey, which style is better for me? Because it won't always be the best fit, even if other people are saying, oh my God, it's so great. Just have to see what works for you.
Anna says, I bring my dog to my studio all the time. I was worried at first, but he's never showed interest in eating oil paint. Also, I use safflower oil as a medium, which is not toxic.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
yeah, that's just know what you're dealing with. Yeah, because actually, as I think about it, my dog has never tried to get at my gouache stuff either. So it's probably more selfish reasons that I don't use oil. I don't want to get sick rather than that. But yeah, I mean, like that, again, if you have a thing of like, yeah, this is my cat, and my cat just walks around my paint and never tries to sniff any of it, then yeah, the world's your oyster. But yeah, my brother's cat really likes to get in and knock things over. So it's like, you should probably not do art.
Or just have guinea pigs that are in a cage. You don't have to worry about them at all. So that's nice and easy.
I don't think my puppy can reach the Cintiq yet, so.
Is he behaving better, Jordan? I know you said he was a little anxious.
Yeah, so, oh man. So he's technically my roommate's dog. And whenever he would leave, he would just start wailing for like 45 minutes to an hour. And I was like, this is so sad, because he's like a month old, you know? But we've been training him, and he's getting so much better. So now he's just chilling. He watches Kim Possible in his cage when we're not around. And
that's so cute.
I think he just watched Mulan and stuff. So yeah, he's doing good.
We got a comment from Mel, and she's saying, I personally think that while Loomis is great to get started with construction, it's severely limiting, since Loomis seems to only explain how to draw the standard Caucasian idealized male and female. And that's something where I have a little drawing anatomy cheat book, and one of the pages is like how people look, and it is exactly that. It is simply one type of person. And for me, like, I'm curious what you guys think, but I think the biggest way to combat that is to use Loomis as the guide, but then still draw from life, and you'll realize how the Loomis body type is one out of literally billions. And drawing from life, you're going to see like, oh, wow, this person has longer torso. This person has shorter legs. Like, and all the differences between people.
Yeah. In my opinion, I use Loomis as a guide, you know, and you think about it, he can't make a book describing every exact type of face that you'll ever see. You know, that would, I mean, there's billions of people in the world. That book will be endless. Right. So I think saying, hey, generally speaking, the length of the nose is this, the length of the ear is this. And then when you're drawing from life and other people, you could say, or drawing characters, for example, you could say, hey, let's lengthen the nose. Let's make the lips more full. Let's make them thinner. Let's get a broad chin. Let's get a pointy chin. Let's add a receding hairline. You know, there's so many different combinations, and he's really just trying to help guide you, in my opinion.
Well, that's why I think drawing from life, you can't help but get a broad range of people, because oftentimes I know there's a lot of figure drawing stock photo packs that you can buy online, but a lot of them are really fake looking because it's people like posing, you know, it's like how many people walk around doing that, you know, it's just, you have to learn how to draw people doing natural actions and not doing these Caravaggio Discobolus ancient Greece poses. And so, yeah, use that as a starting point, but you got to get out there and draw real people.
Yeah.
There was a great New Yorker cartoon about that, of like the New York Ballet tries to catch a subway, and it's like all of the background dancers are like, oh, as they're running towards the door, and it was on point.
Thank you guys so much for joining us in the live stream. We are going to be doing a post live stream stage channel in the Discord, so definitely join us for that. And we also want to say thank you to our top Patreon supporters, especially our new supporters, Maureen Amati, Michelle Hendrickson, Scott Aaron, Simon Dicker, and Anna Wider. We really appreciate you all. And then we also want to ask that you continue to support us on Patreon. We're doing a little bit better, but we still need your help. So don't forget to support us. And if you're not already there, please join us on our Prof Discord, especially in the post live stream stage. That's a tough word to say today. But anyway, guys, we appreciate you so much. Thanks for dealing with us on the technical issues, and we'll see you in the stage in just a minute. Take care.
Bye.
See you guys then. Bye.